Nice.
You do not have permission to live stream. What?
There goes that prep work.
I'm eating a nut roll, believe it or not. God, they're good.
Homemade?
No. Even
Oh,
better.
it says we're live. Yeah, we're live. There we go. I can see us on the old tubes. Let me post this link out there. That was weird. It's the first time I've seen that from a Zoom YouTube combo, but it is what it is. We're ready. Hey guys, welcome everyone. Yeah, we were just doing our thing, just chatting away, and it's like, hey, let's go live with this shindig. And as we do, we're talking about the importance of this week and sitting on the 200 day. And how long did you say we were above the 200 day GP? Like 20 days?
19 or 20 days, something like that.
So let's start there and go to there. It says 30.
On the cues.
Oh, on the Q. I'm sorry. I always forget. GP doesn't respect any other index other than the Qs. 21 bars, 32 days, 21 trading days of counting today on the NQ. Man, I just saw that Batman too. That looks a little Batmanish. Anyway, we're here. It's your TA report. You got Bags, you got GP, you got Nick JFDI in the house, and our usually bullish friend GP. Not that he's bearish, but what were you saying? If we undercut this 200 day, what are you feeling?
So I'm obviously disappointed in the Bears' ability to do jack, but I'm also very disappointed.
In me?
Ooh, Jeff.
We lost GP, I think. We're still here. Yeah.
Bad.
Oh, there you are. We
There
got
you
you now, GP.
Yeah, my bad. I don't know what happened there.
That's all right.
All I was saying is it's quite disappointing to see the Bears being able to take over and seasonality kind of rearing its ugly head after
Getting worse. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, it's just it was disappointing to see the fact that a billionaire can buy 3-day puts and 9-day puts and get paid on all of that stuff to act like a day trader is, to me, just all kinds of messed up, right? Like, I'm just like, stay out of it, right? Like, you have billions of dollars, stay out of short-term market movements. Like, what are you doing, right? And essentially, he bought his puts and we haven't been able to do anything. Every time we look bullish, he comes and buys puts and the pressure gets pushed down to the downside. And we ended up at the 200 day. So it's disappointing to see the price behaving in a way that can be dictated by short term. Let me buy $50 million worth of puts. Oh, look, he was right. No shit, you just bought $50 million of puts 3 days out. Like, what do you... Like, obviously, that's what's going to happen, right? It's the game of squeeze, and after a 20% move, and it's like, that part annoys me on many different levels, but it's what it is. It's the market. So a little disappointed by that. I still see a lot of good stuff happening, in my opinion, and ultimately, if you're looking at the moving averages, they're not aligned on any of the indices, so there's a lot of chop, and there's going to continue to be a chop for a while. I have many names kind of moving, potentially breaking out like mid-March, early April. So that's been kind of the thought process here anyway, but it was just disappointing to see that almost any bullish momentum got smoked by short-term put buyers, right? And like massive short-term put buyers. It wasn't like it wasn't like this retail guy who said, I'm gonna buy some puts and because the market's crap. And no, it was this guy who comes in who owns who's worth billions of dollars and he buys puts. So like it's just frustrating.
But the one thing that I was saying while we were not live was it's not broken until it's broken, right? Like this is an area of retest. Whether you're looking at 200 on the S&P or the Qs. So it's an area that you could serve as support. Now, we didn't see that happen for more than a year now, but it could. And I don't know. I would say that it's hard for me to give bulls benefit of the doubt here, but I'm open to it. I think you got to trade the market you get and not the one you want or expect. But that doesn't mean to be blind and just going, crazy long because you're resting on the 200-day, right? Nick, you were saying that it would be hard for you to put money to work on the long side right now, and understandably so.
If you haven't already, that totally makes sense. But
Yeah,
if
for
you
sure.
have, what's going to happen to me is like if the Bears continue to grab the ball from the Bulls and the Bulls don't start to show up in what seems like a reasonable manner, you have all these people who have been buying for the last 6 to 8 months for a supply kind of windfall, right? Waterfall that people who've been buying kind of the sideways bottom, if it starts to break these levels, you have this accelerated downward momentum.
Yeah.
So if we start breaking some of these sideways levels, then the lows get taken out in a fairly quick manner because there's a lack of liquidity in general, right? If you see some of these movements intraday, some of these bars are like 5,000 shares, and 5,000 shares are causing a 2-3 point move. And you're like, what? So I don't know how much you guys focus like on like intraday movements, but I've been seeing a lot of that recently, especially since like the market kind of topped out and ICANN's puts came in, right? I've been noticing a lot of that. So like you have all the supply over the last 6 months that if we start breaking levels, people are going to be taking their 5%, 10% losses and moving the hell on, right? And that essentially in a low liquidity environment is going to cause a downward trajectory that is not going to be fun.
What do you think looks good? I mean,
NVIDIA looks great, right?
yeah.
NVIDIA's it gapped above this entire zone.
Does it?
I mean, it looks better than everything else.
Yeah. I mean,
I
but that
mean,
doesn't mean, I don't
It
think
engulfed 4 weeks. It gapped over this range that it's been rejecting, tested it 2 days in a row. And in a normal bullish environment, this would mean that it's probably going to break out. But everything that looks bullish in the last 18 months miserably fails. So,
well, let's just go look at the semiconductors as a whole, right? NVIDIA is going to be at the mercy of what the rest of the semiconductors ultimately do. There can be an outlier, and NVIDIA can be stronger than the SMH, but NVIDIA is the second or third largest portion of the SMH. So let's not. You guys know I love the chips. I love NVIDIA, but when I look at the daily, I mean, we've got this big, nasty negative divergence already set up, and it already failed off the RSI. So I'm not crazy about the way NVIDIA looks, honestly. I almost sold my entire position Friday, but I didn't. I almost did. But I'm kind of in the wait and see camp. I'm kind of with you guys. If we go back to the Qs,
we're in 3 inside weeks, right? Essentially, the breakout candle. We're 3 weeks. We did not break that breakout candles low last week. With all the negative pressure, we did not break it. We got close, but we didn't break it. So we are inside down, but still inside, right?
I hear you. And if you heard me, then I just said, like, I didn't sell. I'm in a wait and see. So it doesn't look fantastic. We do have negative divergence all around. So I don't want to be like, oh yeah, chips are where to be. Put all your money in chips, and NVIDIA is the greatest thing since sliced bread, which I believe they are. But the price is what's going to tell me how bullish we are. And I'm not over here singing the Bulls praises, just like you didn't when we started this conversation, GP. Like Bulls got to prove that we're bullish again. And now's the time that they have to do it. As I was saying, coming back to the Spider S&P 500 or the Qs, like, we're basically retesting that key level, right?
Yeah.
And
what's the negative divergence you showed on SMH?
If you hold it, yeah, I'll pull back SMH back up. If you hold this level, great. That's a good thing. If you lose this level, it's not a great thing. And it's just like any other retest. That's what you want to see happen. So there's your 3 inside weeks. RSI is turning down. We come to NVIDIA. Go to the daily, and there's your negative divergence.
But not on the weekly.
No, not on the weekly. But you get those currents of what happens on the daily, it bleeds through to the weekly eventually, right? Like, I know the weekly is the stronger chart, but I'm going to repeat what I said probably 2 months ago, was it's hard to make a trade when you're getting mixed signals. And until the bulls step up, we're getting mixed signals right now. I want to give benefit of the doubt that way.
Not on the monthly either. No divergence on the monthly or the weekly. On NVIDIA, that is.
Yeah.
I'm just like what we talked about, like the moving averages are all still messed up in the indices, so we have chop, right? Lots of chop.
Yeah.
I'm
open to a bullish thesis, and I'm open to crashing through the 200. So I'm just not trying to get caught off guard. I don't think we're going to see a hockey stick straight up off the 200 day tomorrow. I could be wrong. If there's going to be a sharp direction one way or the other tomorrow, I would say the odds favor to the downside, but I'm not counting on a sharp direction in either way. I think we're probably going to see some slop and some chop for a few days, which might be a good trading range.
End of month, there's a lot of stuff, but
yeah.
The SPY actually had the golden cross and retested the 200-day in a normal bullish environment.
Yeah.
Those are healthy, right? Those are checkbacks in the process of repairing moving
in a
averages.
normal environment, right?
But when you have people who can dictate how the markets are going to move short term, it's hard to play for a longer term thesis, right?
Our pal Dub C Anchors Away is in here and saying, V move coming, boys. Sheep have been shook. I guess I'm a sheep. I haven't been shook, but I'm open to one way or another happening.
Are you calling us sheep? Because I'm not really sure.
No, he's not calling us sheep. He might be. I mean, he might be shit. I don't know. Howdy, Randy. It's good to see you. Randy hasn't, after we made Randy a honorary member of the TA report, he's kind of been hit or miss. I'm gonna have to start taking attendance, Randy.
I think from like from a look, XBI was disappointing, right?
Very disappointing.
That was not fun to see because consolidation resolved down, and I'm hoping it's the resolution. This happens quite often. Is there's a week or two where they the final shake happens and then it rises powerfully, right? It hasn't broken that kind of supply zone, channel, whatever you want to call it. But it did break the weekly 50 SMA, which by 40 cents, which isn't a terrible amount. And quite often you'll see things break and then reverse higher the next week. So there's a lot to prove here. That was a disappointing candle.
I got an idea. I'll just get out of the Labu and you guys can keep the biotech because I can't seem to catch it at all. Anyway.
No, it hasn't been fun, right? Because it's just been, it had the big move out of the double bottom and then has just been garbage since. So, and then you saw things like Microsoft breaking down, not a lot of volume on the breakdown, but breaking down. Amazon, Google look like turds on fire.
They do. Oh my God, Amazon. I remember I joked about Amazon's like, I'd love to get my sold puts back in the 85s. I'm going to get my wish, I think.
It's right into the 60, 50% retrace or whatever you want to
there's a
call
huge
it.
volume shelf there too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm going to get assigned at 85. I'm saying that those 85s are back in play.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, man. It's already at 93, right? Really doesn't matter if it goes down another 10%.
Exactly. Or $10, right?
Yeah, I was looking through charts and there just wasn't enough to say there's great direction happening here. Copper, which was looking really good, took a freaking dump, right? It's just like what just happened?
Dr. Copper.
Right? It had the golden cross consolidated for multiple weeks right into the 50 SMA and then started breaking higher, and then on very little volume on copper and economic data and puts being bought, it went from 420 to 397. This is the health of the economy, in my opinion. It still looks decent, but not what I was expecting from Dr. Copper after moving back. It's retesting the kind of the breakout and all that other stuff. So, but it's tough to watch when you're in a bull camp and the bull theses, whatever you want to call them, are starting to break down. You have to start paying attention, right? Maybe it's just a shakeout. Maybe we're just being cheap, but we talk about risk management, right? So the risk gets inherently higher if this continues to break down.
To tell you whether it's risk on or risk off, you want to be watching. So above 25, it's risk on. Below 21, it's a shit sandwich. There you go. That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
I also liked, you brought up copper, GP, and we'll let Nick talk here in a minute. I promise.
I'm good. I'm just listening.
You look at the Dixie, right? And the Dixie kind of looks, let's get Batman out of here because that already played out. It kind of looks like it can go a little bit higher.
To the 200 day, which is around 106.4.
Yep, 106.4. That's right. It looks like it can go a little bit higher. And when it tends to reach these oversold conditions on the RSI, which it is nowhere near on the weekly chart, it tends to usually give it another couple weeks before she dies. So
we're looking at the power required to get to where it was, right?
Oh,
just to get back to the 200.
I'm not saying it reaches highs. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it reaches highs. I'm just saying, even though it looks like it has become a little bit extended, and it has, it could still go a little bit further, which wouldn't be great for your equities.
Yep.
I'm a little
surprised by the inflation stuff, to be honest. If you're looking at natty gas, right? Natty gas has been destroyed. It's got a small bounce here, but it's been destroyed for months and months and months. And my prices aren't dropping. I don't know about yours,
Nope.
right? So like,
Did you get back in on that drop, GP? You said like 188 or something like that.
I'm still looking for it. It's got a really kind of a weak bounce. So and it's right back into the supply zone if you're on the daily here. Right.
Yep.
So I'm keeping an eye on it because I personally think it's going lower.
I got out of it on the highs of Friday. I got out of my Boyle trade. Took a little loss, but you know, you got to move on. You got to take what you can get and get out.
No.
Coming back to something I never chart, I charted the TNX and the 10-year treasury. Like it still could go higher too. You know, it's up there bumping up on the hot RSI, and it's bumping up near all-time highs. But it wouldn't surprise me to see that guy go a little bit higher too. That's why I'm not overly bullish this week. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to see it, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Nick, what are you looking at? What are you watching?
I mean, honestly, so if you just want to pull up the cues, I kind of like the look of the daily. Like I kind of feel like it's sort of cup and handling a little bit. And it's wedging, you know, right into that. What is it, to the 200 day? And is it the 50 day that it's, or 200 day? What's the other one I have on there?
Yeah, it's the 200 day and the 50 day.
And the 50 day, yeah. So price is just kind of wedging into there. And I'm not subscribing to the full on breakdown yet. Like for me to get really, let's say, bearish, I mean, price has got to really kind of take out that two. I think I'll start to 280 will get me nervous. Obviously, lows get tested, and we take that out. We're kind of back in that you know where we were talking earlier. But I'm just keeping an eye on the cues really, along with GP.
Yeah, cues, and so part of that is also if you watch this rally as we were rallying and things were going up, the one thing that was not rallying with the rest of the market was what? Netflix, right? So
oh boy,
that's
we
right.
made it 20 some minutes into the show without having to go to his baby.
Right. So as the market was rallying, Netflix was not, right? And then as you saw, Netflix it's back to where it was like 4 or 5 months ago. And it's been this kind of choppy trade. So this is the one I'd be watching that it's got to kind of hold in this area and move higher. It rejected that January gap down weekly candle. So like to nearly the penny. So it got the move that I was expecting was from the bottom to that 360-ish level, 370, got all the way to 380, and then started acting weaker while the market was up like 4% and Netflix was down like 2%, right? And then it has been always kind of weak for weeks, and then it broke down last week.
Well, but just like everything else, right? It's sitting on a pretty important spot.
Yeah.
It can go either way. It could bounce, it could die, it could chop, right? So there's a lot of possibilities out here in the world. There's infinite dimensions and galaxies and possibilities.
Yeah, and so far every earnings move has been an opportunity to be exit liquidity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the only one that hasn't been so far, and it's only 2 days in, is an NVDA. So it's one to watch.
We haven't talked about our dear lover XLE at all today. Nick, it held the range.
Yeah. I
held the 200 today.
It's got to reclaim that trend line for me to I think regain interest. So basically, it's got to climb above like 88-ish.
The only thing I
XLF.
can think with XLE here is they
But
don't think that oil is going to actually break down, and oil doesn't look great, right? But it isn't breaking down either.
Yeah.
Let's look at old CL. Why don't we? Good old light sweet crude oil. Yeah, I'm not overly bullish about that.
Yeah.
But it's chopping, man. It's chopping hard, and so XLE maintains the kind of benefit.
It
of
looks
the
a lot
doubt.
different when you invert the scale, though.
Looks like it's about to break out, right?
Yeah. That's a good trick. I don't know how many people use the inversion, but if you're having problems spotting things, I like to invert things sometimes, and it just gives you a different perspective. And like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good that way. Well, it's the opposite world. It's the upside down.
Yep.
Lots
of breakouts are failing. I think that's probably
the China's failed.
Look at Wingstop, right? This has been one of the better charts in the last 6 to 8 months. And on a weekly, it tried to break out and failed, right? Like on earnings. And so like these guys have benefited from their cost of goods coming down quite a bit and their prices remaining high. So their obviously revenues are, their gross profits are doing better. And even this kind of struggled to break higher out of earnings. So it's just stuff to keep on watch because that's fairly a bullish chart and it didn't break out.
It didn't go bang bang.
And
Back to
CDW
the Chinas though.
Yep.
And the EEM just looked like they got, monkey hammered over here. You top out, you try to cross over the moving averages and womp, 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 womp. K-Web's actually sitting on the 200, but EEM and FXI just absolutely crushed.
And it tells you like what's going on in China because they are throwing a ton of money, like they're in QE, right? And they're still having trouble breaking out. So there's obviously a lot of damage done to China over the last 2 years. So it's gonna take some time, but is their reopening not going as well as planned?
We got a week of retail earnings coming up, I believe, right?
Well,
And XRT is sitting right on the 50.
Is that right? Is it retail this week? I don't remember.
Probably.
Yeah, Target. Good old Target.
What'd you think of the Square earnings reaction?
I didn't even watch it, GP. Pay attention. It doesn't look great. It was, if earnings was last week, it's a save. It's a save. All right. Like did jump up, but
A lot of accumulation volume. That's all I see. Lots of work to do.
who else we got in earnings? Well, if Target's reporting, Walmart's reporting. Nope. Lowe's is reporting. Yep.
Home Depot got smoked.
Lowe's and Target will be reporting on the same day.
Zoom, Workday, FSLR. Ooh, that means solar is in play. Costco's on Thursday. That should be interesting.
Did HD report last week?
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't look good for that cohort then, does it?
Nope.
XRT, you said?
Sitting right on the 50 after the cross. SMA.
And on the weeklies, just sitting there chilling. XLY, which is consumer discretionary, don't look great. See, there's just a lot of mixed signals, right? Like
Yeah.
you're sitting on places that it can still hold, but you've got all these other things telling you different stories.
Yeah.
Costco, that was the one that I meant to look up.
Nope.
I mean, I
Does
think you just
Costco have a
do
day with
nothing,
200?
basically. A whole lot of doing nothing.
Ooh.
I actually like Amazon here, but it's a turd.
I mean, I love Amazon everywhere, all the time.
Amazon's still one of the few plays that has those deep in the money arbitrage plays. It's absolutely crazy. Like people are like, yeah, we're gonna continue owning Amazon, but we're gonna get our arbitrage plays, like massive amounts of deep in the money puts.
Yeah, WC said what I kind of said. It's pretty. It's a coin toss kind of week, but could determine the next couple of months. I don't disagree with that at all. We haven't talked about the VIX. What's the VIX done? I don't know.
I don't normally watch the VIX.
It finally hasn't rejected every moving average in the world. You don't watch the VIX, Nick.
No, I just don't pay attention to it.
Nor do I. Only when people start talking about it.
Yeah, that's the only time I literally look at it is when someone else. Yeah, exactly.
I like to look at it just to know what it's doing, but I don't base my life around the VIX. Gold. Gold bugs out there. Ooh, God damn. Sorry, excuse my French. Yeah, that don't look great. It's a pretty important level down here at the, well, right here where it's sitting, but below 162, it looks like, oh shit.
Yep. I like what Meta's doing. It's not going anywhere, but it's also not completely dying. Right? It's this big supply zone that
It's holding its gap up
yeah,
for now.
sort of, not really, but it's in the gap.
Yeah, it hasn't given it back. He hasn't closed the gap.
No, it hasn't closed the gap. Apple finally pushed into the gap. There was a big December 190 call buyer, but then there's a lot of short-term put buyers. So everything's a bit like kind of what's your time frame conversation.
Yeah. Agreed.
Dash was a miserable earnings destruction. It's uglier on the daily.
Why wouldn't it have? I mean, I don't have huge expectations for Dash anyway, but
Yeah, but just like overall earnings reaction, right? Almost every gap has been filled. Yes, Tesla has a big week coming up with Investor Day and stuff like that. And the funny thing is Tesla hasn't been involved in the AI conversation at all. It's been mostly what NVDA, AI.
well, hell, Elon's only been promising driverless cars for the past 14 years every year. So,
well, they also have the robot thing, right, or whatever it's called.
I'm just spewing my normal Elon hate. That's all.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thanks for your approval, GP.
There's not much to look at. We talked about how I was gonna say Airbnb is probably gonna go back.
Small caps. We haven't looked at small caps yet. Well, let's take a gander. Same puke. Like you need to hold on here, Sonny.
Although I will say, if like hypothetically, like let's say we do kind of pivot out of here, IWM for instance, when this pivot high gets taken out, I'll be looking to get pretty heavy, I think.
Yeah. XLF was
Airbnb
disappointing.
puked. Yeah, Airbnb puked. I didn't even pay attention to Airbnb, but yeah, it closed the gap.
Yeah, exit liquidity, right? Like it's just essentially gap up to sell off. So, and it's holding the gap, which is good, right? And when you don't have a base and you gap up, you tend to come back to fill a lot of the gaps, right? When you have a big base and you gap up, most likely those gaps don't get filled.
October 13th. I'm trying to see what our homie Dub C's over here asking. Kind of looks like October 13th. What looks like October 13th and June. I don't know, bro. October 13th.
I think he's talking about the same thing that Anchors Away is talking about, right?
Yeah. Dub C is anchors away.
Oh, okay.
Vivix, yeah. What else we want to look at? We can look at MJ. MJ's been a winner.
Tuh.
I'll take all the credit for crashing MJ because I made bank off of this sucker on this pop right here.
You know what looks decent, which I never thought I'd say, is GE.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Yeah. It could go a little higher.
Yeah. This is not a long-term play, GE. I have no faith in a company that has consistently made lower lows since 2000.
Since forever.
Yeah. How'd our boy Cisco turn out?
I don't know.
Nope, rejected. IBM still a hot garbage piece of mess. It broke the trend line. Goodbye.
Yeah, everybody check out AI. C3 AI. I mean, that's a nice little triangle there. Something like that. RSI is still, it's not too bad.
They destroyed Wayfair. Oh my.
They should.
They manhandle this mofo.
That's going to retest the low. I would be shocked, I tell you, if that didn't retest the 20s.
Man.
Shocked.
Ugly.
Can someone please tell me how Nikola is still a multi-billion-dollar
I didn't
company?
even know that was still a thing.
I didn't either.
How is this still a multi-billion-dollar company?
$2.22. Hey, well, while we're looking at penny stocks, let's just pull up Wish.
It's not penny. It's $1.1 billion value.
It's a penny stock. Anything less than $2. Well, yeah, it's 222. Excuse me.
If you want to look at a good chart,
I would love to. This is depressing.
Melly.
Yeah.
Mercado Libre. That doesn't look bad at all.
Solid earnings. They're continuing.
That does not look bad at all. That's a chart that's with the shits right there.
Mm-hmm.
I actually like that, GP. I'm gonna have to do some more homework on this guy, but I kind of like it.
Melly's earnings were really good, so like it can chop, but it's a long-term play. I think it'll do well over time.
Randy, who is
Granted-
always good for throwing us something that I have never looked at. GE Healthcare. GE Healthcare.
Is this a SPAC? What the
This
hell?
is the spinoff. GE's breaking up. So this is the spinoff of GE's healthcare unit.
Really? Damn.
There's just not enough history for me to say anything there.
But hey, Randy throws these ones at you that, I mean, Randy's got a knack of knowing some wild shit that I wouldn't even look at. Uber, Dubsy says. I mean, there's worse for sure.
Yeah.
That's like a 3-week shot right there.
Ooh, Nick loves him with 3WT. It's like
Yeah.
it's like the oil you put in your car, 9W30 or whatever, or it's a 3WT.
I mean, considering what else is out there, I think it looks better than the So, how about that?
I'm okay with that.
Why doesn't eBay just go private? They're just a miserable stock.
eBay?
Yes.
Ooh.
Look at this. Just garbage.
I want to do something real quick. I'm gonna compare two things here: eBay and old PayPal, and let's see how these bad boys have done without each other. Not great. I mean, PayPal's obviously still a better buy, but not great.
You want a good chart?
When was the breakup?
I don't remember. A long time ago. 2015.
Something like that, right? That's
Yeah.
when 2015. Yeah, you were much better to take the PayPal side of that.
Yep. A good chart that no one follows. NSIT.
NSIT. I don't even know what that is.
No
Insight
idea. Just the
Enterprises.
chart that I found.
Looks hot, like fish grease.
Yeah.
Like on fire.
Then there's FIX.
Hang on, I'm admiring Insight right now. What is
Yeah.
Insight? Technologies. Oh, I know what they are. Which was the other one? FIX?
FIX.
Comfort Systems USA.
You been watching SMCI?
One of the really nice looking semis.
I mean, I watch NCIS, but not SMCI.
If you're also looking at this
There's
one,
that
look
one.
at LSCC, Lattice Semiconductors.
Can it go higher?
It has done nothing but since it broke out of its base in 2019.
Can it go higher?
It can. Then we always have our friend GFS, which looks great, and then it stops looking great.
Yep.
Let's go look at Nick's Lamb research.
LRCX, how is that? She doing? She's doing okay.
She's out there living her best life, Nick. She's not lonely without you anymore.
No.
Yeah, it was hard to find anything that was really positive after the last 2 weeks.
GFS.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm with you.
Which doesn't mean like there's not actionable trades, right? Or abilities to it is a wait and see, right? Like you had a lot of things that should have held, didn't
Oh,
hold.
Randy, I love you. I've loved you for a long time. I just couldn't hold on to it while it was getting slaughtered back here. But yeah, I like what you is doing. Randy, do you own all of Global Foundries yet? I mean, I think you've got a 100,000 buy order every week, right? ALGM.
That was decent.
This is our good friend Anchors.
Yes. This is okay. Then Mobileye got smoked.
Did it?
Yup.
Yeah, that took a big old dumpy dump.
There's no base. This is why you don't trade IPOs unless you're a short termer.
Yeah, Randy's got that $100,000 weekly buy order in. So he's gonna be the owner of GFS before too long. 10% already. You got them Buffett numbers, Randy. Well, I know my one thing to watch for this week.
Melly?
Fucking retail earnings, right? Like if we see what happened to Home Depot, happened to Target and Lowe's, I would say the shit's about to hit the fan. Or has hit the fan. The shat has been shot.
Yep, there's not a lot, right? To say we're in a place where either we go really low or really high, and got to see how the reaction is.
This is our least energy that we've had doing one of these
I agree.
since ever.
Yeah. I mean, that's just kind of I think the probably goes to show the market.
Everything is like fingernails into the cliff's edge, right? Like, don't drop me, please, please hang on.
It's just hard to find patterns.
Is First
or
Solar
charts.
rolling over finally?
What's that?
Is First Solar finally rolling over?
No, it's just there. It exists.
Just there. It is because it exists. Intel, what a wonderful stock that is.
Oofta.
Check out Credo. First, Randy wants some Victoria's Secret. Yes, we will.
Yeah.
We didn't know you were into the knickers, but hey, what do you, brother? I mean, I'm not crazy about it. Not crazy about it. Credo, CRDO. Oofta. What MGMI do? Poop. What Trade Desk do? Is Trade Desk still a thing?
TTD.
Oh, TTD. I did TDD. Pooped. Pooping. Chevron. There we go. Nope. Pooping there too. Living on the edge. Look at that guy just hanging out there. Please don't drop me.
If you want a decent energy charge, Chesapeake CHK.
CHK. Chesapeake's still around, huh?
Chesapeake.
Yeah, no, they went bankrupt and then they came back. So
Yeah, I know. So it's a miracle how companies can just go bankrupt and come right back, stronger and bigger than ever.
it was almost a bullish engulfing week, which is why I pay attention to it in the space of energy doing jack and more jack.
What would you call that, Nick?
A big old engulfer.
I'd call that a horny 3-week tight.
Yeah.
It does look actually kind of bullish, but I wouldn't. Moderna.
Oh, Jesus.
It was a big old turd.
What I do like about what's going on is
Everybody catching the theme here of tonight's show. I'm just making sure everybody's catching the theme.
We were range bound in a lot of stuff, and then the early part of January causes kind of big volume candles up and expansion of ranges, and we're coming back to test some of these expansion ranges, which, as we've talked about in the past, when volatility increases, bigger moves are coming, right? So the question to us is, what's the bigger move? And right now, holding above the 200-day tells you that the bigger move is to the upside. But a lot of charts look like poop and a little bit of garbage to mix together on fire. So it's hard to say we're going to go higher. But
Fiery poop garbage.
Fiery poop garbage.
Technically, it's a bullish stance because we're above the 200-day, and we've been above the
peak
200-day.
energy, Randy. Or see, Randy, you're about to keep your honorary status. You keep coming in with stuff like this right here. That actually looks solid. High peak energy. Randy, how do you know these things?
Front line also looks pretty good.
What's
Pro,
it?
FRO.
FRO. Frontline PLC. Looks a little hot to me, GP.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't mean it can't keep going, but it looks a little hot to me. Randy just says LOL when I ask him how he knows these things. I guess it's like Bush's baked beans. He's not telling the secrets.
You can go through a lot of the new weekly highs, new yearly highs list for a lot of these names.
How about Palantir? Boy, that was a great earnings collapse. Spectacular, wasn't it? How'd ROKU fare? Oh, same thing.
Not bad actually. Considering the move it had, right? It went from
Shop got smoked.
53 to 76 in 3 days, right? To come back and fill the gap and kind of hold that breakout of 62 on ROKU, not bad.
How about Snow? Not great. Spotify.
I was meaning to look at Spot.
Randy looks at a lot of charts. I've been looking at less charts. I mentioned this the other day. I've only been watching 5 charts, and I've been trading 5 charts. That's the SPY, the Qs, Apple, Tesla, and NVIDIA. It's the only thing that I've been trading, and it has worked very well for me for the past, I don't know, 6 weeks or so. So I don't have any plans on changing right now.
I have so basically how I kind of arrange my setup or what I really do, it's really pretty simple. I basically have 2 lists. I have a master list and I use TradeStation. So I have basically this radar screen.
Mm-hmm.
My master list has got, let me see here. It's not working.
I'm dying to go Beavis and Butthead and go masturbator.
No, it's got I don't know, 1,000 names on it. And then I have my focus list that I try to keep under, let's just say 200 or 300. And then I have basically 2 screens designated to basically my top 25. And so I just kind of pay attention to highs and lows of my own watch list essentially. And there's really, I don't know, that's kind of how I basically just kind of scan through, set alerts. But I'm kind of with you. I really haven't been looking at doing a whole lot of chart work. But like I said, I have a decent amount of runners on, so, or not runners, I should say. Just
I really think less is more.
Yeah,
I've been so at peace with not looking at, I don't know, 100 and some charts and just focused on those 5 charts. And pretty much I know what I'm going to trade coming into the day almost immediately, if I'm going to trade at all. And you guys know me, I'm not a big trader, but the last 6 weeks has been pretty good for your boy.
Yeah. One chart to look at is GLBE.
GLVE.
Yeah. B is
Oh,
the boy.
globe. Yeah.
Yep.
Why are we looking at this?
Because I thought it was it reacted pretty well off the earnings.
Okay.
It's kind of flagging off the moving average. These are one of the new kind of IPO charts that's starting to look better, right? And so if you were looking at ALGM, this kind of falls into a very similar category. So it's something to keep on your radar for the next few months, because if it starts breaking out of this IPO base, then the move gets to be a lot better. And that's around like 37, 36, 38-ish, which isn't a bad move.
One thing before we dip out of here, I gave you the range on Bitcoin earlier, to get major bulled up or to get extra bearish. But really what I want to, no, it's not Bitcoin. There's Bitcoin. Potential doji on the monthly. Not super rare if it were to do that. But as we know, dojis can be inflection points. And if it were to do that, I don't know. I would probably be cautious. Just me, my 2 cents.
Yeah.
So there's the things I'm going to pay attention to this week is what the retail earnings do, and how Bitcoin finishes the month. Bitcoin
You
finishes
got
the
2
month.
days, right? So
Yep, Bitcoin finishes the month around 23. We might see. I know Nick and GP, you guys have talked about dojis in the past, but I just they're not a confirmation signal for me, and it's an indecision candle, right?
Yep.
So could be an inflection point, as we saw on this guy right here back in April of 2021. Doesn't mean it goes down, but just something to be cautious of.
Yeah, and we still have 2 days, so we'll see what happens in the next 2 days.
Yep.
Right. So like if you're looking at the Q candle, as of now, it looks like an inverted hammer. It's rejecting the potential trend change. And the good thing is it's holding in the really tight upper range of the prior candles, whereas so that the next 2 days will be obviously important. But
Agreed.
if we close above 295 on the Qs, that's technically a green month.
That's a good thing. Yeah, for sure.
Right. So, and 295 is only $3 away. That's 1%. So let's see what happens over the next. SPY doesn't look as good as.
Yeah. Well, but again, it's only get up to 399.80 and you're back above the 21, or 398.65 and you're above the 9. So that's not a long way. Definitely doable in 2 days.
Yeah. But so far they make you question your entire living.
less than 1% higher in 2 days. That would be positive.
Yeah, and futures are halfway there, but we know that makes no difference.
Yeah. Nicholas, what are you watching?
Just the Qs.
Just
The
the
indexes. I got nothing on my. I'm not watching anything.
Other than your hundreds of charts on your watch list, just use.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, I'll be watching what's just at the top, the highs and the lows, the tops and bottoms of those.
GP, Netflix, the Qs.
I'm actually watching Meta more than and Amazon actually.
Really?
Tesla. I'll throw that out there.
It does. Tesla just does what it wants. But it looks pretty good, to be honest.
It doesn't look as bad as others.
It was an inside week. Typically into an event, Tesla is never that great. So we shall see. There's been a lot of volume buying here, but that you could say that all that volume has exhausted the move, right? There's two ways to look at it.
I kind of like Meta. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it for
Yeah.
some.
And I like Amazon because yes, it rejected on earnings, but it wasn't on heavy volume, right? So see if this this week shows us something different.
I think you want to see it hold 90, right?
Actually, let me look at it. It's flirting with the 50-day, so I think around here should definitely 50-day, 61% retracement off the lows. This is the area high. It's 93.74. It's closed slightly under that. So this is the area that I'd like to see it hold.
Don't lose it. Don't lose.
Potentially a wonky, like inverse head and shoulders.
Yeah, no, you are not incorrect.
So these are the two I'd be watching in terms of bigger breakdowns. It's Microsoft is a concern. It was 3-4 straight gap downs into the 200-day, but the 50-day is sitting right underneath, right? So basically the moving averages are all messed up. So tag of the 50-day and reversal could be a possibility. And the reversal might be a boner candle because it's working on a golden cross, right?
I mean, it looks like the Qs.
Yeah.
It looks like the Qs.
But you're at the point where we could see you have a new month starting. You had a positive January, a great January, not a great February. So you could see new money start flowing back in because now they feel like their risk reward is better. So it's tough to watch here.
I got to check out the Liberty Formula One shares here since Formula One season's about to start. And they have earnings in 3 days. They have earnings the same week that the season starts. That's is that right? Yeah, that's kind of crazy. They had to time that, right?
Yep.
What is Class A? I'll have to check on the classes of stock there, but not a bad off the pandemic lows there.
You know what? CRM is actually holding really well too.
Boeing got hit on Friday.
Boeing had so much dilution. Yeah, it had so much dilution that it's going to take a really long time.
Yeah, everybody down here in the 120s were partying in the 200s, and now they're going to watch it go back down. I'm not saying you're revisiting those lows. I'm just saying it's going to go back down. All right, gang. We just spent an hour talking about shit tonight. Shit charts, shit market.
Yeah.
Before we go, shout out to our guy Pratt. Still need all your positive thoughts and vibes for him and his family. Miss you, dude. Thinking of you. We'll just leave it at that. But stay strong, my brother.
Absolutely.
And with that, that